Watch me get an ad.
Almost always starts with ads. Alrighty, welcome everybody to the Geekus Theoreticus podcast. Today is our 31st episode, which is interesting. But today, we got two topics as opposed to standard three. Really wasn't really very two specific things to talk about this past week. Now we're already right before we started this episode, we already were on a bit of a we were on a bit of a debate about DLCs now versus then.
Oh yeah, and the funny part is we agree absolutely. DLCs were a better concept before than they are now. The part where there's just kind of a split is what would be better going forward. Which I actually think is funny. We agree up to that point.
Well, I don't think anyone. I think I think you'd be hard pressed to find someone who disagrees that expansions, DLC, stuff like that was better back in the day as opposed to now. I would say back pre 2010 is I guess be my benchmark. Back pre 2010, we look at any games really, especially if you look at the RTS genre. There's a lot of actual true expansions upon those games. Like I think a lot of people would point to Age of Empires 2. I would also point to Warcraft 3 with the expansion of the Frozen Throne, which was an expansion onto Warcraft 3 Reign of Chaos.
Now are we going to count in expansions or just straight up DLC?
Both, because they're conflated nowadays more and more. Because when people hear DLC, they also think expansions now, whereas back in the day it was expansions, and then there was also DLC.
Well, and I'll say this. Something else we were talking about last night was we were talking about like the idea behind season passes on if they're actually worth it. Because some games offer a season pass right when it comes out. So if we release DLC for it, you have all the access you want to our DLC, no matter how much or how little we release. So is it worth it? If you get it for $60, could be $300 worth of DLC. Could be 10. Now, I will say one game that I do think did DLC right was actually right after 2010. It was Borderlands 2. I think they actually managed. Yeah, they managed to do DLC right because they came out with 4 extra quest lines, 3 or 4 raid bosses, 2 new characters, and then a bunch of cosmetic shit.
And then the D&D stuff.
that was one of the quest lines. I loved Assault on Dragon's Keep. That was such a good DLC.
Yeah, that was a good example of a genuine DLC. Whereas opposed to now, where the first thing that comes to my mind is I saw Angry Joe talk about it. But if you look at Apex Legends and their season passes, a lot of their season passes include like massively include cosmetics primarily. And recently, one of their cosmetics, because you mentioned that depending on the season pass, it could determine its value. Well, I think some companies like I can't remember the name of the company that's behind. I know it's the same people that did Titanfall. Also did Apex Legends, and it's set in the same universe. But that aside, that company, I think they're kind of arbitrarily increasing the quote-unquote value of their season pass by also having ridiculous cosmetic prices on their shop. Because a blue skin is $40.
Well, so
discounted, by the way, because its main price is 5,000 of that in-game currency, which comes to about $50. $50 for a blue skin.
One of the things that this was long before Fallout 76 was probably even thought of. But one of the things Bethesda came under fire for is as they released more and more DLC, they released Nuka World, they released Vault 88, they released 2 more workshop add-ons, they released Far Harbor. They had a total of 6 DLCs. I believe their season pass was something like $35, $40, and they just upped the price to $50. for a season pass. If you didn't get it, if you got it before, you know, it was like I said, $35-$40. But then they raised it, and then if you wanted to buy it after that, it was $50. Do I really fault them for doing that? No, because at least two of those, which would be Far Harbor and Nuka World, add on about 10 to 20 hours a piece of gameplay. So that I think is worth it in itself. But plus, they added in like additional assets to the workshop, which I get that they could have put all of their assets into the workshop and made it, you know, this whole big thing that you can make whatever the hell you want. But I don't know. I don't really think they should have came under fire for that. I think they came up with a logical reason of, okay, so the value of what you get in our season pass has increased. So we're not going to increase it by a lot, maybe about $10, $15. So yeah, I could see that.
All right, before we keep going, let's do a proper welcoming of those who are here. Nathan, first as always, or nearly always. Welcome, Calcul. What's up, man? Dragonis. Pyrrhus is here early. And Tang. What's up, guys? Welcome. Thank you for joining the this episode of Geeky's Theoreticus podcast. So yeah, on the regards of the I can't speak to the value of the Fallout 76 DLC. I don't play that game. Game scorned me and half the gaming community on its launch day enough that I still think the game should have been taken down on principle, but whatever. But as for the discussion about how season passes are nowadays, I don't see the value in. I see the arbitrary value that they present in a lot of games for people, especially if you play a game regularly that has a lot of online content. Some season passes have included expansions. They include things of actual like content-wise additions, whereas what I'm seeing more and more, and this could just be me, season passes are becoming more and more a cosmetic thing.
Absolutely.
Like more and more like, hey, in this season pass for the next this many weeks, we're gonna launch this many cosmetics. It's like, okay, what if I wanted actual content?
Yes. Actually, I'm trying to look something up right now because I'm kind of curious about this. It has completely two different scores, which is kind of funny. It has a different score on Steam than it does on Google.
What does?
76. On Google, it has a 43% like. On Steam, it has a 7 out of 10. You made me think of actually something kind of important. Well, not really important, but something relevant to the conversation, at least. Which is rare for me. Because I was just thinking fine, I'll fucking look it up on Steam. Oh, it's on sale on Steam. Oh.
Do.
Well, no, so the logic that I'm looking at is because I believe with World of Warcraft, if you buy, I don't know because I don't think I can look it up now. If you buy WoW,
hey,
you have to.
Welcome.
I think you can buy all the games up to Shadowlands, and then you have to buy Shadowlands, or all the expansions up to Shadowlands, and then have to buy Shadowlands.
I think unless I misunderstood how the system works now with WoW, if you buy a subscription, all with the exception of the latest expansion, all previous expansions are included. But you have to buy the base game, so that's like $60, then your subscription.
And then
you have to pay another $60 for the latest expansion. So
actually, no. Right now, Shadowlands is 25% off. It's $15. It was only $20.
Never mind that. So $60 for the base game, $15 for the subscription, and then $20 baseline for the expansion.
So you're looking at $75, $80 for even being able to play WoW what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And
used to have actual substance and actual expansion with expansions and DLC back in the day. Correct. Nowadays, I would choke it down to laziness and the overwhelming tribalism of gamers right now. A lot of gamers, let's face it, a lot of gamers are, if I'm being generous, are way too forgiving of game companies right now and some of the bullshit they pull. Because game companies nowadays, they'll release you nothing but pure cosmetic season passes, which add no fresh gameplay. If you're lucky, there is an actual addition to the expansion. Let's say in Apex Legends, they add a new legend, like a new character you can play. You might get lucky there. But otherwise, it's pretty much pure cosmetics. So, in truth, what back in the day... Can you imagine releasing a season pass or a DLC expansion, quote-unquote, back in the day like that? Like pre-2010?
Pre-2010, yes, but back in the day means something completely different for me.
Well, I don't remember a single DLC exactly like that. Not that didn't get laughed out of existence. Not a pure cosmetic one. Nobody would have bought it.
I'm trying to think.
That's a lot of cash for just playing WoW. And yeah, especially after you know that the WoW devs call people assholes who freely advertise your game.
No, here's the fucked up part. That's not just to play WoW. That's just to install WoW. You also got to have a subscription to play WoW.
Which is $15 a month.
Yeah, so what were we at? 80, 75, 80, so you're looking at 90, 95. So...
close to $100 just to play the damn game.
Yeah,
in its full glory, in air quotes.
And you're looking at a recurring $15 a month or something like fucking $100 a year or some shit.
And even after all of that, you still don't get 100% of the game's content because they lock some of it behind the in-game shop, like mounts.
Or even lock it behind like quests and raids. Which they started
even
doing.
Then, that's earnable. That's always been a thing, though. Earning mounts and stuff via raids and dungeons. That's always been a way to do that.
Oh no! They've started locking quest lines behind shit like that. Like, so for instance, me and my dad, we've played WoW since vanilla, and one things that we always kind of preferred was just like solo questing. We didn't really do 5-mans, we didn't do raids, we didn't do shit like that. But starting, and I will say this is one of the bad things about Draenor. Starting with Draenor, and they ran with it like autistic children with cake in their hands, is that they made it where, like, at the end of certain quest lines, you had to do a 5-man dungeon in order to complete the quest line to move on with the story. You couldn't actually move on with the fucking story until you did it. And I think that was stupid as hell.
Well, another thing is WoW is, well, I would say it's not as narratively driven anymore. The story for a lot of people has kind of fallen off the rails. Like, I don't know about you, but I don't give a shit about WoW story anymore. Like, post WoW, I just don't care. The quests are just an activity.
They are, but it's like for someone who prefers questing. I mean, even if it is a simple go here, kill this, go here, collect this, what the fuck ever. Go here, put this electronic rod up your ass and run around for like 3 minutes, shit like that.
The reason I say that, though, is I found that my experience playing Final Fantasy XIV online right now is the opposite. Like, a narrative, I literally actually stop and read the quest text in games now. Like, I haven't done that since Wrath of the Lich King for WoW. I just get the baseline, what's my quest objective? Okay, I'm doing that. In Final Fantasy XIV Online, I'm reading the quest text. Even some side quests are interesting enough that I'll actually pay attention to the dialogue. There's cutscenes, there's character interaction, there's actual story unveiling, and unlike with WoW right now, where you just follow around all the actual characters, you're just a side along, like Thrall, like Jaina, like Sylvanas. Yeah. You're actually a key character in what goes on. Yeah, it's a standard trope of, you're kind of the chosen one, but that's more fun to me. Yeah, it's cliche, but it's more fun to me it's way more fun to me. Not only because it's Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy is just quirky in all the right ways, but I actually feel like my character matters. Like I'm actually, I play a part in the universe. Wow, I haven't felt that since Wrath. Like I really haven't. Like your character is literally just a side along, tag along to watch the actual characters have their story unfold. You're just a plot device. Like you don't feel like you're actually a part of anything.
And Dragonis actually asked a question with, well, you mean I can start the game, do 60 dungeons, and level that way? No quest needed. After level 15, yes. You have to level to 15, and then you unlock the Dungeon Finder, and yes, you can literally level up just doing five-man dungeons from that point on.
Fuck the Dungeon Finder, fuck Raid Finder, fuck them both. So hard. They've ruined
I'll
the
say
game.
this. I hate Dungeon Finder, but I do actually appreciate Raid Finder.
I hate them both. I hate them both passionately because it took a giant chunk out of the charm and value of the game. Because think about it back in the day. You actually made friendships and actually got to know people because you had to run dungeons with them. You had to actually interact. You had to speak. You had to set up a meeting time to run a dungeon, and you had the risk of failing the dungeon. Now, it's literally you queue up, and if you try and talk to the dungeon buddies you run into, they tell you to shut the fuck up. They actively tell you to shut the fuck up because there's no point in talking. If you're talking, you're not hitting your hotbars. You're not doing your rotation. You're not fighting You're not fighting in the. It's all about min-maxing now. It's all WoW's about anymore. There's no social experience at all, which is what should be a huge part of an MMO RPG. If I'm just gonna run shit like that and not socialize, and there'd be no point to joining a guild other than a couple fucking achievements and a fucking tabard, then why the fuck am I playing? Why can't this just be a single player game? Why am I wasting my time? That is my biggest problem with WoW right now. And though Final Fantasy has the Duty Finder, which is a Dungeon Finder equivalent, the groups actually talk. Like I every dungeon I've done in Final Fantasy 14, people talk. They're like, "All right, guys, you guys ready to run this?" I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like I feel like I'm an alien in a foreign universe because people are actually fucking talking and socializing. Because that's still an active part of the Final Fantasy 14 community.
I will say with Dungeon Finder, it's more hit or miss. With Raid Finder, it's more often than not they just don't talk. Dungeon Finder, you do get some groups that will still talk, but Raid Finder is very unlikely.
I never found anybody who was willing to talk. It was usually, if they did talk, it was to ban somebody. It was to kick somebody out of the group. It's like, hey, healer's not being fast enough, kick. And then they vote to kick. That's it. So talking was usually a bad sign.
Actually, random autistic story. I used to tank with my Death Knight. And
so
my health would...
Bloodspec, right?
Oh yeah, I love Bloodspec. Bloodspec is fun spec.
And I hated when Frost got nerfed. I hear it got buffed for Shadowlands, though.
It did. It got really... Like, the bad thing is they kind of flipped Frost and Unholy. They buffed the fuck out of Frost, but they nerfed Unholy.
It was the other way around when I was playing.
Yeah. Blood, though. I was doing a dungeon. I want to think this was in Legion. And I used Dungeon Finder, so I was using Raid Finder. And I got down to low health, and then I almost like insta-heal myself because fucking Blood Death Knight. And all of a sudden, one of the DPS is like, kick the healer, kick the healer. It was a paladin healer. And I was like, shut the fuck up or we'll kick you. Healer didn't do anything wrong. They know I'm a Death Knight. That healer knows how to heal Death Knights. He knows what to look for when I start to fuck up. I was fine. Sit down, shut up, and enjoy it. Or if you want to cause problems, fucking leave. He left. We didn't even have to kick him. Everyone else was kind of like, okay, let's go have fun again. And we just went back to bullshitting.
There's a lot more bad apples in WoW, I think.
Well, no, literally, in that raid, it was just that one guy. We were joking around having fun, then we get up to that one fight. And he wants to be a dick. And then after he leaves, after I essentially call him a little bitch, we all just go back to having fun and bullshitting.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's kind of like the best way I have to explain it, it's kind of like at my job. If there's one person in a bad mood, it can ruin the night for everyone. It's just kind of contagious. So just kind of nip that shit in the bud.
Yeah. All right, we went a little bit off topic there, but to click us back, so yeah, DLCs and expansions back in the day versus now. So as I was saying, you know, season passes are almost always cosmetic now. Did you want to tell them what you kind of posed to me with the Creative Club thing?
Oh yeah,
I still disagree, but we'll present the conversation.
So here's the conversation we were having. Not me coughing till I die, though.
Please don't.
So the idea is I did some digging into the Bethesda Creation Club for Fallout 4 and for Skyrim, and I wondered if it would be a good idea for game companies just to focus on releasing the base game. Don't worry about the DLCs, and let the modding community via the Creation Club or via mods or like a Creation Club equivalent do DLCs, these little cosmetic things, shit like that. Because if you look in the Creation Club, there's nothing really on par with, say, for Fallout 4 specifically, with Nuka World or Far Harbor. But there's a bunch of workshop add-ons, there's cosmetic stuff, there's new weapons, there's a lot. So, do I think you could get some of the modders together and create something like Nuka World, like Far Harbor? Absolutely. But it comes down to the question of, would that be better for the gaming community as a whole to essentially like leave the DLC and all the added-on or official added-on content in their hands? And this is kind of where the divergence is. I think it would. Because I think if game companies release a good base game and you get enough people interested to, release DLC or release mods for it like that, then you could very easily have a game that you could play for 10, 15 years, and it'd still be the same base game, but because of all the new added content, you really do have a different experience playing it every single time you play it.
And this is where I disagree, because I consider that a degradation on gaming. The fact that we know, to me that would be a sign that gaming is dying as a hobby, is if we stop expecting developers to expand their games, to actually add to their games, and leave it to the community to mod it. Now, don't get me wrong, community modding has kept games alive for a long time. Look at Warcraft 3. Up until Reforged, that game was fucking thriving for 18 years straight. And a good portion of it, and they only added one expansion, which was Frozen Throne, and then left it, and then the community kept it alive for much longer via, not only just because people actively enjoyed the base game, but also because of the map editor created games, custom campaigns even that people made. Lots of that kept the game alive. However, can you imagine if people would have bothered with that if they had only played Reign of Chaos? Now, don't get me wrong, Reign of Chaos was amazing, but without the completed elements and the additions and small hotfixes that was included with Frozen Throne, do you think those same people would have been as committed if they didn't get that full rounded story and didn't get that full added additions that Frozen Throne really enhanced on the base of Reign of Chaos? Welcome to Zoid Industries.
And Alex Grigorov kind of says it there, though. Developers already want to stop developing their games as soon as possible, even before they finish the games, and want to make as much money as possible without caring about the product at all. So, yeah, you're right with Frozen Throne and with Reign of Chaos. You're also talking about a game that came out 10, 15 years ago. I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you that this is not the best possible path. I believe if we want to be the best possible path, game developers should fucking care. And should actually, show that they care about their product and back that shit up, but they don't. So it comes down to the question of from where we are, what would be the best thing moving forward? Let them continue to do this shit, or just put it in the hands of the community, who obviously cares more about the games than the fucking people who made it.
And I think, and well, again, that's why I still have a problem with that. Is it kind of, to me, that comes off if we do that going forward, and that's what we expect going forward, that we've given up. We've given up on holding the game developers to task, and we've given up on forcing them to actually give a shit about their product or not make money. Like,
well, yes and no, because look at it this way. Let's use the idea of Fallout 5 as an example. And let's say in Elder Scrolls 6, which I think is supposed to be Dagger, or not Daggerfall, damn it, what was it supposed to be? Because they released the name of it, and I can't. Damn it. Elder Scrolls 6. Fuck it, that's just what we're going to say. So you got Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5. So when Bethesda goes to work on these, let's say with Fallout, they don't release the base game, to what the standard should be. Not DLCs, not anything like that, just the base game. But with Elder Scrolls 6, they released the base game. Again, no DLCs, no bullshit like that, just the base game. Then the modding community is going to get more behind, or the modding community and the people who want to make stuff for the Creation Club are going to get more behind Elder Scrolls 6 than Fallout. And that's where I think it'll come down to. That's where it'll encourage the game developers to get better, because there'll be more support for one game or the other, and that game will do much better than the other. Because again, if you use something similar to the Creation Club, where you've still got to pay a small price for the DLCs, then
which are not made by the company, which is my biggest problem with it.
I don't really.
I find it sickening. You don't see the problem there. I do.
Oh no, I get why people have a problem. I just don't agree with it.
DLCs for a long ass time have been, if they're produced by modders, have always been free.
Here's why I don't have a problem with it. The modders who make the stuff for the Creation Club get paid for their creations. Every time you buy a creation,
you can get paid through things like Nexus mods. You can also crowdfund.
Yeah, I know that.
I don't like the company controlling it and getting a profit off it as well for no work.
And there's not no work. They still do the QA for it. They still have to go through and make sure it works with the system. They still got to make sure.
Which modders can do on their own. They don't need help from the company to do that.
No, I agree, but the company still does that because it is their product at the end of the day.
So they put in the bare minimum and they get half the profit.
I don't think it's half. I think it's actually less than half, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. So I remember there being a big thing about modders not getting paid by Creation Club, and a few of them came out and said, no, we do actually get paid, and we get, I believe they get the majority of whatever you spend on the Creation Club.
Oh, I again, could be, I'm alone
Again,
on this.
don't hold me to that, because that was years ago.
But I don't think mods should, if mods are going to cost money, they need to be very expansive. They need to be fairly large, and I just don't feel comfortable with game companies giving up and putting everything in the community's hands. Like, to me, that's just a dead game then. Or dying.
But I think if they release the base game, it's not a dying game. They have released the game.
Yeah, there is the base game that other people are going to build off of, not themselves.
Yeah, but why would they need to if they release the full game?
That's another problem. Modernly, they don't even do that right.
But if they release a full game, then there's really no need to build off of it because it's been completed.
And also, wouldn't at the end of the day, wouldn't the modders essentially then just become employees adjacent to the studio?
Would that be a bad thing, though?
Depending.
I mean, and because I think it would also open up the argument that it would give the modders and the community more power over games and determine where games go.
Yeah, and my biggest problem with that is we currently have mods for games. We currently do, and have expansions, and have season passes, and have DLC.
Well, no, we do, but if we took that power away from games, that would determine which games really do truly
And the other
succeed
problem
which
is with
hell.
with modders though. The problem is mods are vastly varying in quality.
Mhm.
There are some
And that
there are
goes
some
back
mind
to
blowing mods that make you wonder why the mod didn't just make their own game with some of the stuff that they've done. And then you have mods that is literally a really lazy as hell ass skin for like a plant pot.
well, no, and that goes back to something similar to Creation Club because that has to go through that QA. And again, I have seen this. I have used 2 free mods, both for the same thing, which is Warhammer 40k Astartes armor. One done supremely well, one done lazy as shit. So yeah, I know that they are there. But this goes back to that QA. If they keep the good ones in and make sure, the cheap ones stay cheap, or not stay cheap, but the cheap ones stay, out of, the official Creation Club, whatever the fuck, they call it.
Tang actually brought up a good point. Another major thing we're not also putting up though is the legal issue. So if a modder wants to monetize, he needs to do so of his own merit as a private developer. I think I skipped the one I wanted to mention. And there's the whole legal part in the case. So when it comes to the legal rights of like the content that is produced in the mods, that is a good point. Is the company technically only owns what is original to their game, and anything that is added in the mods, like completely raw, like completely produced original, is not theirs. So
Well, and
as it
again,
is, monetizing that stuff is entirely dependent on the mods being okay with their shit being monetized by the company.
And if I remember right, the way it works for Creation Club is, in a way, you sell your mod to Bethesda in this case, and every time each one gets purchased, so for instance, the Hellfire Power Armor. Let's just say hypothetically it's like $5. Let's say you created the Hellfire Armor, and every time it gets sold, it makes $5. I think the way it works, from what I understood, from the way it was explained to me, is every time someone purchases Hellfire Armor, you make $3 or $4 or whatever. So in a way, it's kind of like you're selling it to them, but every time it's purchased, you get a chunk of that profit. I forget what kind of transaction that's called, but I know it has a specific name.
I'm not sure off the top of my head. Tang says, "Can you put Astartes armor in Skyrim?" Yes. Will Bethesda let you? No. Which is true. When it comes to them, that's the other aspect of like the copyright thing is if a modder makes something that's based off of another copyrighted property, the more Bethesda, or let's say any company, takes direct control or ownership of those mods, the less of that more freedom stuff that they can allow in because of copyright issues.
Well, no, you'll still have mods. I'm not saying get rid of mods. I'm saying...
No, I know that. What you're suggesting is doing the Creative Club route, though, where the company vets it all out, which includes non-copyrighted stuff to their material. So if somebody makes an Astartes mod through Creative Club, that could put, especially since Bethesda are the owners of that, can put them at risk of being copyright struck, or in this case, hit with a cease and desist.
So hold on a minute. Before we keep going down this road, so let's say, someone does a full-on 40k Astartes Power Armor mod and goes to put through Creation Club. This goes back to the QA. Okay, so it's already copyright material because it's obviously 40k Astartes armor. It can't be in Creation Club. Or whatever the fuck it's called. At that point. If it's already something that's copywritten, Xenomorphs, Astartes armor, bolters, shit like that, then obviously that stuff's not going to be able to be in the Creation Club.
That adds a whole nother issue to the whole modding scene, then.
Not really. It
does, because it limits what the modders can do.
No, it doesn't, because you still have the free mods. You still have mods, but you still have the paid mods. You paid mods of the Creation Club. You still have the free stuff, and you still have the stuff that you can pay for if you want to add on to your game. I honestly think the hard part about this is if you release something in Creation Club, is having to have someone keep an eye on the free mods to make sure no one copies it there. That's where the hard part's going to be. Not the copyright shit, because that's easy to take care of. Not the not really the paying the people, because like I said, if
And that's another thing Tang brought up that I was gonna bring up, but I think if I'm reading it right, the wording's a bit better. Yes, but why would a developer want to let another person put the same, usually better, things for free when they can? Okay, no, he didn't word it better than I was gonna. But no offense, Tang. Free when they can strike them and try to force everyone to pay mods. So what he's trying to say was around the same thoughts as me. Why would Bethesda, let's say, allow free mods onto the game, and why would they even sanction them with those copyrighted materials if again people make free mods that are better than the paid ones? So let's say they have a set number of modders, and let's say that a modder that has a paid version of, let's say, a unique set of skins for power armor.
Let's say the Hellfire power.
What if someone made a free one? What if someone made a free mod with the same idea but made it infinitely better? Well, now that's competing with what not only the modder could make money on, but the company could make money on. No, so now they have an active interest in preventing people from using the free one as opposed to the paid one.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Because if they have one on the Creation Club, then that's what I was saying. Is if there's one that is free, then yeah, I would go ahead and I would say, hey, I wouldn't even say they strike it and take it down. I would say the developer goes to the person, hey, we already have one of these on the Creation Club. You have essentially copied this. Or even if the one on the Creation Club was copied from that, I would take the one from the Creation Club down. I would see which one was released first, honestly. Because that would be the fair thing to do and right thing to do, but that doesn't happen anymore.
I don't think it's a matter of win. I think it's a matter of quality, like which one's better.
I disagree. I think, so let's say you have the really good one and the okay one. But the okay one was released 2 years before the really good one.
And?
I would say, hey, Ours already been up here. You made this knowing we have this one up here.
Hold on. Your mic just...
Oh. Is that better?
Yep. Yeah, you're back to where you were.
But so it's like, hey, you've known this has been up here. So even though, yes, you did make a better version, you knew we already have this. Or they could even put in a system where, hey, modder, again, creates the Hellfire XO2 power armor and could try to replace the one that's already there because it's better. It creates that kind of competition, so everyone's trying to improve. There are a lot of answers to it that you could go about with this one.
I'm not sure you answered my question.
You're saying so you're saying it's more of a matter of quality than anything else. I disagree. I think it's a matter of which one was up first. And if that's not really the case, if they don't really want to take one down or the other, then have it to where a system where the free mod can challenge the Creation Club mod if people want that one to become the Creation Club mod because it is better quality. And again, this keeps up the quality of the Creation Club or whatever the fuck it's called.
Okay, yeah. But what if the person who made that better mod wants it to be free?
Then the Creation Club is not forced. It is completely optional.
Okay, that's what I'm saying though. Is if someone releases a free version of a better paid mod on Creation Club, and Bethesda now sees the competition, wouldn't they want to ban or prevent that free mod from being easily accessible to people in the game?
Well, I did answer that when I said they would at least ask them to take it down because they already have. If they don't want it to be a Creation Club. I'm not saying take it down. I'm not saying ban them. I'm saying ask them. Hey, we already have this. This is competing with our creation club. You are a modern our community. Please take it down.
Maureen, you're joining mid-conversation. You have no idea what we're talking about at this point. No offense, but yes, we already talked about Nexus mods. What we're currently talking about, and I feel like I'm going in circles, is a creation club only way of adding on to future games as opposed to expecting the developers to produce quality expansions. Pretty much just leaving it entirely to the community to do that.
Yeah. And it comes back to...
Which I see as a massive degradation, but...
They degrade themselves, let's be honest, right now. But I do think it would be better for the community. I think it would be in better hands with the community than it would be in the developers. And again, a good example of this is going from games like Borderlands, even hell, Fallout 4, to like the new shit that we're getting now.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go in circles here. I kind of agree with Dragonis. I don't want mods to be paid, and I like a tipping system, kind of like what they do for like when people sell 3D models for 3D printing on like let's say Cults.com or Thingiverse, I think it is. When people put stuff up on either of those websites, you can tip the creator money, but the core thing can be free. So you get the free thing, and then if someone so chooses, they can tip the creator because like, hey, I needed this. Thank you. Here's some money. I like a tipping system, but I don't like force paid mods because at that point, I start to look at what you're producing through the lens of someone who's had to pay fucking money for it.
Well, and I'm not necessarily saying pay mods. I'm making the argument that it would be better if just DLC was done by the community. It would be a much better quality than it has been these past, 5 years, if not longer.
I still think we should try and get developers to produce good expansions.
Oh, no, I agree with that. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. Can't give up before you keep trying. Alright, well, I think we've run in that circle a bit. So, in short, old school DLC and expansions were good. Now, expansions and let's face it, season passes are all cosmetic bullshit that nobody cares about, with the rare good expansion on a game. So that's pretty much what it comes down to.
And again, I'll say this: like as far as like season passes, one of the best and one of the ones that I feel like has the two that I feel like the most value are Fallout 4 and Borderlands 2. But those are also like almost one's no. I think they're like 8-9 years old now at this point because I think
isn't Fallout 4 like 4 or 5 years old now?
No, I think it's older than that.
That was only 4 or 5.
I think it came out. Motherfucker! Stop auto-filling in the son of a bitch! God damn you, Google!
I think it can turn off. Why is it Fallout 4?
No, it's 6 years old. I was wrong. I thought it was older than that.
No, it's not that old. Yeah, 2015. So, yeah, 6 years old.
And Borderlands came out in 12, so that's 9 years old. But I think they both had real... And again, this is an opinion. I think that both of them are... both of them are actually really good season passes. You get a lot of value for both of them.
Thank you, Nathan, for the super chat, man. Thank you. Also, tipping allows the player to try it first. Yeah, which is better.
That's fair.
All right, so now on to our other topic for the day. Which I already made a dedicated video about this, which weirdly blew up. I'm not sure why. It was just a random video I made. Didn't really think about it too much, and it got over 12,000 views. I don't even know why. But anyway, it's about, and I wanted to bounce this off you. I was going to save it for this, but I really wanted to talk about it when it happened. So, I've already, do you want me to go over the whole thing, or just specifically Adam Holinsky's comment, him signal
I've already
boosting?
seen it.
Okay, so you already know the situation. All right, for the audience sake, Twitter, SJW, psychotic nutjob, admitted and proudly declared their harassment and intentional unnecessary reporting, and also was trying to get other people to report Asmongold for trying out Final Fantasy XIV, and presumed to speak on behalf of the community and how evil Asmongold is, blah blah blah. Standard trash human being stuff. Don't expect anything better from people like this. So that's not even really the main issue. This is standard Twitter stuff. Wasn't even worth the story. But the reason people are talking about it is because Adam Holinsky, the lead product manager of data at Blizzard Entertainment, signal boosted and responded to this person by agreeing with them and saying Asmongold's an asshole. Now, I will say this. I think we can all understand, like, that moment when you're frustrated with a customer or frustrated with somebody. Like, I've worked in retail. I know what it's like.
Food service.
I worked in retail for 3 years of my teenage life and into my adulthood. I know what it's like to deal with a shitty customer or 1,000. But you know what I never said to that customer? You're an asshole. You know what I never said to my fellow coworkers while that customer is walking by? Hey, that guy's an asshole. You know what? I would have gotten fired on the spot. You don't do that. And people say, oh, well, this guy, he said it on his private Twitter. It's not private when Twitter gives you a blue check mark because you're the lead product manager of data at Blizzard. Okay, to all devs out there, not just to devs, but to all creators, to all people who are part of a company, a business, whatever. If you want a private account, do not put on that account where you work. Do not put on that account what position you are. If you absolutely feel like for some reason you need to include that, be vague as hell. Say like, hey, I am a product manager at a gaming company. Just say that. You don't need to jerk yourself off on the internet and say, I'm lead product manager, data at Blizzard Entertainment. And then list on every product what you work on. Like, you're asking for trouble the moment where you say stuff like this.
The profile picture says it all, though.
I think the profile picture is definitely something that should be held up for a mirror for this guy.
That's my point.
He's a fucking moron. This is the same as wearing a company's uniform while talking bad about customers. Like, you're asking to lose your job.
Now, understand, I see the distinction, but for me, we're not saying he doesn't have the right to have his opinion.
No, he does, absolutely.
We're saying time and place.
Time and place, and you're not freedom from consequences. Now, The thing is, you could have freedom from consequences if the guy was smart enough to, again, not basically wear his company's uniform on Twitter. Here's the thing. I understand perfectly especially for certain industries to have, to list their stuff and have accounts like this. But why do you have to have it be also your personal account? If all devs, all people who work, especially in industries like this, have 2 accounts. One professional account where you rarely post, and if you do, it's usually advertisement for your company, for your product, for all that stuff.
And one personal.
Where it doesn't even need to have your real name on it. That's another thing. Don't use your real name for something where you're going to say testy stuff. Name yourself Pepe Le Pew 5577. Do that and post memes, post shit, and talk shit about people you're angry at, like Asmongold. Guess what? No one will trace it back because you're not telling people, hey, I work at this company. Please get me fired.
Which the best thing for me is, as long as I have played WoW, I still have no fucking clue who Asmongold is.
You don't?
No.
Well, he's the biggest World of Warcraft streamer on Twitch.
I know.
And
I know that. I know that. I just don't watch him.
Well, I watched his clip channel on YouTube where he does some reactions on stream. And the thing is, I agree with him about a lot of things when it comes to WoW. He has a lot of. Mm-hmm. He's been playing the game since vanilla. Like, I think both of us. You've been playing since vanilla, right?
I think you said you've been playing since Burning Crusade.
No, I've been playing since WoW. Since vanilla.
Oh, okay. Yes, since both of us.
Yep, I've been playing since vanilla. Towards the end of vanilla, right before BC launched, but since vanilla.
No, mine was a little bit before that. Fuck you, I'm old.
Well, I started playing the game when I was 6, so
Uh,
I wasn't good at it. I'm not gonna pretend I was like, oh yeah, I was 6 and I was like raiding like hardcore. No, I was still literally one quest. My dad remembers this because he shared this story last year. He said, I remember sitting over your shoulder trying to teach you how to read because my reading shot up because of World of Warcraft. Like I just wanted to learn how to read the quest text because back then you had to. There wasn't like quest indicator markers to hold your hand. Like you actually had to figure out where the fuck to go.
yeah.
And I was trying to read it, and my dad had to keep telling me how each word was pronounced. So one quest took me 3 hours.
Similar vein. My reading actually when I was younger wasn't that good, but what ended up boosting mine was Final Fantasy VII.
It's amazing what can actually give you reason to want to read or learn how to do math and stuff.
Yeah.
And teachers always pat themselves in the back like, I'm such a good teacher. Nah, this kid just plays video games.
Pretty much.
But yeah, back on track. So yeah, with this situation, I already gave my thoughts. I feel no sympathy for the guy. I definitely think he shouldn't have been harassed, but that was bound to happen.
I think if you go back up to like his description, it says views expressed are my own. Like, okay, cool.
Then why
Don't
did you
put your professional fucking information up there though.
Yeah, no one cares if you say that, dude. Like views expressed are my own. Okay, and no one cares if you include again where the fuck you work.
That would
Literally,
would be almost as special. That would literally be almost as special if I put all of my where I work. I work as a cook, also amateur YouTuber. All views expressed are Asmagons. And then that would just really fucking confuse people because it's like, wait a minute, what does that have to do with it? Why does that matter? Same reason here. Why the fuck do you have to say views expressed are your own? I don't expect you to be ramming your hand up someone's ass and be talking with them like a puppet. If you say something, it's kind of like, and this is a George Carlin moment for me, I'm sorry. But it's like saying, in my opinion, really. I thought if you were going to tell me something, you were going to tell me that asshole's opinion, not your own, because you obviously can't have any if you're telling me it's in your opinion.
Yep. Zoid Industry sounds like sound advice, keeping your corporate account and private account separate to me. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
The thing is, it should make sense to everybody. It kind of scares me that this needs to be explained to people. Like, if you're going to talk shit about people, and for some reason you absolutely have to do it over social media, have a private account. If you're going to be an asshole, be smart about it. Don't be an idiot. Don't advertise where the fuck you work, especially if you work at a gaming company. I'm sorry, gamers in particular are hostile as hell.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
You're asking for people. The thing is, no one gives a shit if you say views are expressed on my own. No one cares. If before that you list where the fuck you work, down to the fucking exact games you have direct influence over. Like, I work at Blizzard Entertainment, specifically Blizzard Watch, WoW Insider, blah, blah, blah. You're asking to get fired when you say the thing is, another major thing is, this is a small hot take, and I've had time to think about it. If Adam Holinsky had called Asmongold an asshole just in his own tweet, I still think it would be extremely wrong. I still would have called it out as bullshit, but I would have had a little bit more respect. On the basis that at least he just said it himself. But when you add in the context that he was signal boosting a tweet, harassing him on a different game, would have already been bad enough if it was in WoW, but harassing him in a completely different company's video game, MMORPG. You signal boost that and call him an asshole. That adds a whole nother layer of, like, I don't even understand it. I can understand calling him an asshole just yourself. If it could be a moment of rage, something particular was said that just pissed you off and you snapped, I could get it. You're still wrong, still would have called that out, still would have been disgraceful and unprofessional, but I could understand it. But to have the to signal boost harassment of him in a different game,
Yeah.
it's just so much more pathetic. and rat-like.
Huh,
It's like
I
below
got
the line.
I got something funny for you.
Right.
Kind of related, because we were talking about, like, fans turning into animals and getting pissed.
Yeah.
So on a little bit of a curious streak, I wanted to look up, because there were protests and bad things happening over Mass Effect 3's ending. I want to read something to you. And you're going to think this is kind of funny, because it's actually related to what we were talking about with our first topic with DLCs, just in kind of a different way. Here's the paragraph. It's small. Still, the strength of the backlash among a vocal minority of fans shows that when you give players a degree of control over the way a story develops, some are likely to see that as a right to demand fuller control of everything related to that story. Well, in that case, when you literally just shit all over it, yes. But that's what's happening now. Is game developers aren't doing games justice, so people are demanding, hey, make it better. I think that's kind of what you were also trying to say too, is also, holding companies to higher standards.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. We need to hold them to higher standards because everybody wants to be lazy. Everyone wants to be lazy, including high-end CEOs of corporations like this, including the janitor at corporations. Like, everyone wants to be lazy. The only reasons we put hard work in is if we're passionate about something, like you actually care about it. Like, it's not just about the money, but it's actually about crafting something. That's that. In that case, that you'll put passion into it, you put hard work into it. But if it's just a job, like it is to everybody at a company like this, you want to be lazy as fuck. You don't want to put any effort in. So when someone like me, Ludus, or Asmongold, with hundreds of thousands of people watching him live all the time, calls this shit out and directly says, "Hey, this is where you guys are being incompetent. This is where you guys are being lazy. This is where you guys are being completely ineffective." They don't like being called out on being lazy. They want to be lazy, and they are being lazy, but they don't want to. People don't like being called out on it. They don't like being held to task about it.
Carneth Corn, Mass Effect 3 had 4 endings from the get-go. Or no. Yeah, it had 4 endings from the get-go. It's just, most people don't know about the 4th ending because it's kind of special.
Yeah, so, I don't know. I've said my piece about the Adam Holinsky thing. Oh, but did you see he privated his account?
Yeah.
What a rat.
I saw that too.
What a fucking rat. Then he privated his account and he removed all of this, which, come on, dude, you should have done that from the fucking get-go, you idiot.
Hey, Kill Team Hungry.
Hey, what's up, man? Buongiorno, my dudes. How you doing? Yeah, we're talking about the Adam Holinsky calling Asmongold an asshole while signal boosting harassment of him in a different video game situation.
Now, also, this is something I kind of want to say from the get-go, but I just kind of forgot. If I were anyone who worked for Blizzard, like anyone important, like lead of a development team or whatever, and I was stupid enough to have that on a Twitter account, and I knew our biggest streamer wanted to try out Final Fantasy XIV, I wouldn't say that guy is an asshole. I would actually reach out to him. I would add him and be like, hey, what can we do to make WoW better, do you think?
That requires integrity. And self-awareness.
And humility, because you're literally going to him saying, like, hey, what can we do to be better?
Yeah. And the thing is, that's another layer about it, though, as well. That's another layer that just enhances how shit this is.
Mm-hmm.
On top of him calling him an asshole, already unprofessional, on top of him signal boosting harassment of somebody, it's also a customer of his product, or a product he works on, massively worse, and then on top of that, it's a customer that's been there since vanilla, who's free. Not only, the thing is, Asmongold has been one of the best advertisers of their game, and he's not even doing it for free, he's paying them to advertise their game. Because he pays the monthly subscription and he's bought every single expansion when it's come out. So, on top of all that other shit, he's one of their biggest opposite of free advertisers. He's paying them to advertise their fucking game, and you call him an asshole. so much disrespect. It's just on a just because he called your game incompetent a couple times, I guarantee
because it is.
it is incompetent when you do dumb shit. You fucking morons. I can't get over just the sheer bullshit of this.
I want to see someone try and have a logical argument. Now, I'll say this. I enjoy Warlords of Draenor and Legion. I would never, ever say they can compare to Vanilla or the first two expansions. I do like them. They'll probably be my 4 and 5, but Vanilla and the first two expansions are the best part of WoW. And I would love to see anyone try and say, no, WoW's still good. You know, the Shadowlands can compete with any other expansion there's been. Really? Bet.
I don't think anyone would do that.
Game devs insulting customers, EA telling me not to buy Battlefield 1, Blizzard mocking me. Come on, don't you guys have phones?
Yeah, the thing is, in both those situations, they weren't direct insults. I know that sounds like cheap, but it's true. When it's a backhanded one, they could still pull the PR bullshit. Like, oh, well, they were just trying to say something, and maybe got lost in a little translation. But they didn't directly call someone a specific thing.
This is not one of those moments.
This is not one of those moments. There is no PR twist they can pull with Adam Holinsky directly calling a loyal customer an asshole. It's about as transparent as it gets.
It's like being able to put a PR stunt over saying Adam Holinsky is a moron.
True. Bufalton, welcome. Tigats, I assume you meant to say that's because Blizzard treats its customers like Omni-Man treats his son.
Calling your customer's name or insulting them is just as bad. Well,
the thing is, Omni-Man through the majority of Invincible treats his son pretty well.
All right, hold on, Carneth Corn.
It's the end of it that he didn't.
Shadowlands can't even compete with BFA. That's not true. BFA was a garbage expansion.
I've played. I quit WoW beginning of Shadowlands, so I can't speak to if that's true. I hear Torghast is a major disappointment, though.
I made it like 60-70% through Shadowlands. I just haven't had the time to pick it back up, honestly. But even that 60-70% was still much, much better than BFA. BFA, okay, it's the difference of Shadowlands is garbage. BFA is garbage that is on fire.
Well, actually, wouldn't it be more like Shadowlands is garbage, but BFA is the whole dump?
No, because
when the whole hog pile.
Have you ever smelled burning garbage?
Yes.
Then you should know the difference.
Oh, it smells horrible.
It does. Even worse than regular garbage. That's the point.
Man, it's on fire.
Hey, fire normally helps everything, not fucking garbage.
I don't know. So we're gonna take some call lines in. Are you ready for that, or did you want to have another major thing you want to go down?
Not really. I think we kind of already did it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna provide a link to the Discord. Hold on.
I'm not gonna lie. I looked over at your Discord real quick because I keep it pulled up on my second screen. It says suggestions and ideas, and I swear to God, I read it as suggestions and idiots.
What?
Yeah. Where it says suggestions and ideas right above caller lines, I swear to God, I read as suggestions and idiots.
That's nice. Anyway.
I can't read!
Feel free to hop on in, guys. It's for anyone who's new to the Discord who hops on. Right above general chat, welcome, and rules, there should be a single VC called Call Line. We're in an invisible voice VC called Stream Call. We'll pull you guys in individually and let you ask questions. Up to 2 questions. Can we change it to suggestions and idiots? No, because
Can we change?
That's
Put that in
rude.
the suggestions and ideas box, because that is a suggestion.
That's a no.
It's going to happen. Just accept it.
Wow, my eyes are super blue today. It's the lighting. Usually they're green. I cast my vote for that. No. I want people to actually use the chat. Alright, Karn's in Pornaman. Alright, Karn, standard rules, as always. 2 questions. Go ahead, shoot.
So, yeah, give me a second to mute the stream itself. So, okay, so what's your guys... first off, hello.
Hi.
Hello.
What's your guys' favorite, like, expansion pack or piece of DLC?
Ever?
Maybe why?
Mm.
Either ever, or you can make a list, a small list if you want.
Number 1 would be Frozen Throne.
Just WoW, not just World of Warcraft, like general.
I know, but I'm giving you the list of all games. So for me, number 1 would be Frozen Throne on Warcraft 3, and for WoW, probably be Wrath of the Lich King, despite the fact that it introduced a lot of the elements that tore down WoW to be as bad as it is today.
Only later on in the patch cycle, if I recall.
Yeah, but with all with the peak height of the theme of the expansion came the absolute lowest of the inclusions.
Yeah, sadly.
Unfortunately, best expansion, but it got too close to the sun. Let's see, third. What's the third best expansion expansion DLC I've experienced? Witcher 3, Blood and Wine. I'll say Blood and Wine. I like Blood and Wine.
Yeah, that's a pretty damn good pick. Still haven't played that game.
All right, what about you, Lewis?
I have to think about this, and I'm not gonna fucking lie.
Wasn't it Shadow Broker or something?
What?
I would say probably I'm looking at Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep.
Oh, that one had a good ending.
Nuka World from Fallout 4.
Oh, okay.
It added my favorite weapon into the game, and I know that seems like something small, but the animations for it were absolutely beautiful.
Because sometimes it's the small things that make.
Well, no, the story for it was good, but the animations for the handmade rifle were so beautiful. Oh, piss! What was it called? I'm trying to think.
What game?
Skyrim.
Souls Time. I know.
Nah, Dawnguard.
Dragon Ball.
Dawnguard. The one where you can become a vampire lord?
Yeah. I didn't become the vampire lord because I think vampires are a little bit fruity.
Alright. Well, it depends on which iteration of vampires we're talking. There have been some very non-fruity ones.
I was never that much a fan of vampires to begin with.
I like werewolves more, but I think there is a right and wrong way to do vampires.
Well, I have to correct this. Vampire the Masquerade, the old stuff, is awesome.
Yeah. See,
Oblivion.
see, like I just said, there's a right way and there's a wrong way.
Dragonis did bring up a good point. I was about to argue this point because I really love Dawnguard, but I had to remember that I also love the Shivering Isles too.
Oof. Yeah.
Alright, so...
Chirov, the only one with a beard.
Real quick, sorry to interrupt. Pyrrhus is can't call in as I'm at work, but I'd love to hear your in-person reaction, thoughts, and opinions. And the Bart piece, I'm assuming he meant the art piece I did of you and Asmagana's Space Marines. I thought you were here when I said this before. I really love it. At first, I was kind of confused because you gave me a bandana, and I thought you gave me an afro, and I was wondering why. And then when we zoomed in, I saw it.
I was like, oh, okay. I'll pull that up for the stream.
This is now canonically an afro.
This is now canonically an afro.
Hold on. Let me pull it up. If you guys have seen like the outro,
But no, I do actually love it.
There it is.
Well, he gave you a power.
That's the one with the watermark. I can do it without the watermark. There you go. Boom. Yeah, so that would be the artwork in question. Yes, which was a fantastic piece. Very well done.
Which now I very rarely wear the bandana because I don't need to, honestly. I mean, I still do sometimes because I like wearing the bandana, but
You
it's one of those
got short enough
things.
hair.
Yeah. I had a ponytail at one point.
I still... Well, I don't have a ponytail. I have a Viking braid, but... I have my fantastic hair.
Yeah, your little rat tail.
I believe... Is it called a rat tail? I don't know the exact
I
type.
think the way you have it, it's a rat tail.
I thought a rat tail was the one that goes on the side. Like the Anakin Skywalker thing.
You can do that, but I think it's generally just a rat tail. If you make it shorter, I don't remember how short, then it's a wolf tail. Something like that. I know, I think it's if you braid it or not. If you braid it, it's a rat tail.
Alright, so do you have a second question for us, Sky?
Yeah. He said that's the reference images I was sent to use for your portrait. No, it's fine, man. Like I said, I really like it.
So, for what game would you like to have like a brand new DLC? Like, it might be
With
an old
modern game
or-
development or old school?
Doesn't matter. Like, hey,
It
Titan
does. It
Quest.
does significantly matter, my friend.
Right,
We had an
Titan-
entire conversation about this today.
Titan Quest. Titan Quest is an old game and got
No. What I'm asking though is when it comes to the development mentality, old school or new school? Because new school would be cosmetics.
and like I said, the way you would have you would like the DLC to be.
The most ideal DLC for a game now.
Like the way you want it. Doesn't matter what the industry standard is. But just need to be somewhat realistic.
If done as old school devs did it, I'd say. What game would be good to have a DLC or an expansion?
Age of the game doesn't matter.
Actually, speaking of expansions, I'm waiting for the next expansion to come out for RimWorld.
Oh,
Supposedly, it's going to add a lot in, and it actually looks really good for what they're planning.
I like this game, but damn, do I suck in it. No, I'm awful. I think I cannot get a colony over 4 people.
I can't think of any game right now.
I am literally looking through my library of like 200, or about 400 games.
Well, maybe it's it's kind of a question that's way too open.
It is. It really is.
I just can't think of anything right now.
Yeah, well, it's a shitty question then anyway.
Actually, I thought of something that'd be. I thought of what would be a cool expansion. It would never ever happen, but it would be a cool expansion, and it would probably. Honestly, it would probably give Bethesda some good grace they desperately need at this point. If they actually added in an expansion for specifically Fallout 4, where they add in the capability for co-op and added in a specific co-op campaign.
Yeah.
Like, after you defeat the Institute, it could be either before or after you defeat the Institute, but specifically, after you defeat the Institute, more of kind of like, you and your team of up to 3 other survivors help to rebuild the Commonwealth from a new threat, which was the idea behind Nuka World with the Raiders, but it could be something, like remnants of the Enclave coming back with, and no, I'm not making this shit up, sentient talking death claws. Because those are canonical.
Oh, I think I have an answer to that question now.
But yeah,
Mass Builder. They still haven't released the 1.0. I know, but for when they do, because I don't see them adding too much more before the 0.0 release. But I would love for them to expand, have an additional expansion onto the game where they really go ham with some of the enemy types in Mass Builder. Those who don't know what Mass Builder is, it's an indie mech.
Damn.
It's an indie anime mech game.
Yeah, it looks like Gundam meets a little bit of Mech Warrior.
The best part of the game is you can quite literally customize the mechs from the fucking ground up, like crazy levels.
I like that idea. I'm a little bit careful with early access these days.
In my opinion, it's early access only because the devs aren't confident enough to call it a 1.0 release yet. In my opinion, it's better than most games that have a .0 release.
I got burnt a bit with that stuff, so I'd rather wait for a 1.0 release.
Okay.
I don't want to repeat it.
it.
I don't want to repeat an Eternal Crusade again.
But yeah, so for mine it would be something like throwing in a co-op mode plus full-on co-op campaign for Fallout 4. And
Yeah.
and like you said, if it's done right, that would be really, really cool.
Yeah, and it needs to be a little bit more difficult because Fallout 4 is kind of a little bit easy to become too strong.
Well, yeah, if you max out your character, because I believe in order to get, I remember if you want to get all the perk points as they currently are, it's you have to be level 244. And the only reason I know that is because that is the square of 12. That is literally the only reason I remembered that.
Alright. Well, thank you, Karn, for your questions, man. Much appreciated for calling
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I always like to give something to discuss. So, later, guys.
Thank
You
you.
definitely gave us something to think about.
Alright.
Um,
Dragonis, for the weebs, what are your favorite anime / manga? Ooh, I have 2 different answers.
I also have 2 different answers.
For anime,
Oh no, mine are both anime.
I have manga and I have anime. For anime,
Anime.
For anime, I actually, for the longest time, I had a different answer to this question, but it's recently changed. That time I got reincarnated as a slime. It's not because it's the most grandiose anime. It's not because it's got the most crazy story. It's not even that it's necessarily the most original. It's just the raw amount of fun that show has. Like, I haven't read the I believe there's some novels on it, light novels, and I know there's a manga, but I haven't read those. But the anime is just such a fucking amazing ride, and with how they went from such a kid-friendly or family-friendly, I'll say, not necessarily kid-friendly, family-friendly-esque with some gore, but it's anime. The amount of like blood and guts versus like clean, it was way in the clean leaning. From season 1 to season 2, downright ripping your heart out, showing it to you, punching it a couple times and putting it right back in. I just love that. I love that show so much. So that's my new favorite. For the longest time, the answer to that question was Dragon Ball, old school Dragon Ball. But got knocked off its pedestal because
Well, at least you finally learned your lesson about Dragon Ball.
No, I still love Dragon Ball.
It's garbage.
Fuck you. Dragon Ball is amazing. Are you talking about Dragon Ball GT, Z? What are you talking about specifically?
Yes.
Okay, have you watched Dragon Ball? The original?
Yeah, I have seen enough of it to form my opinion.
No, actual Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z. Not when Goku's an adult.
Yes. When Goku is still a kid, yes, I have seen it.
You have terrible opinions on so much other crap. I can't be surprised by this one.
Hold on a minute. I'm gonna change for my camera real quick, just because this will be appropriate. I'm gonna try and pull up the stream at the same time. Give me a second, because this is appropriate for this conversation. Okay. Yeah. And yeah. Yes.
I can see I can see people having a problem with Z, GT, especially Super. I have problems with Super. But
oh no, it didn't work.
Dragon Ball is such an amazing show. I can't.
It's not showing up in stream. I am sad now.
And keep in mind, everybody, this is the same guy who likes Fallout 76 and hates New Vegas. So, just to give myself more
credentials. Put it in the
here.
stream. It's not putting my camera in the stream. Oh, I see why. Oh no, because it is putting my camera. It's not putting my screen. Oh, I'm retarded.
Well, I can't disagree, especially considering your last statement, but
yeah, look what I put in the stream call.
Here is my hill, and I will die on it. If anyone's curious, what he's showing.
Oh, piss! I clicked the wrong thing. But yes. So no, there we go.
That's like that
yeah.
you should have that tattooed to your chest because that's you on like everything.
It really does.
I'm pretty sure Ludus is a contrarian by nature. Well, anyway, tell them your favorites while I grab my manga to illustrate why my manga point.
I'll wait for you to get back because I want to hear your shit talk me some more. Man, he took his headphones off. Oh. See, one he'll agree with and one he'll question my intelligence. It'll be great. If he gets back. Oh, there he is. So, oh.
Alright, I'm back.
So I was waiting for you to get back because I wanted to wait to hear you talk some shit some more. So I have a new anime and an older anime that I really like.
Okay.
My favorite is and always will be also one of my favorite drinks, which is Bleach.
Well, Bleach is good.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not talking shit about that one.
Yeah, I figured you would because I actually like the entire series.
I can't agree with you on the Bount arc in the anime, but
Yeah.
otherwise,
The Bount arc was a little special, but I do enjoy the entire series. The other one is oh man, how do I actually say this? The Japanese version, so I don't sound like a complete and total asshole. And me and you have talked to Shokugeki no Soma.
oh, I love Shokugeki no Soma.
Yeah,
Literal foodgasms.
Yes,
It's fucking amazing.
Shokugeki no Soma.
All right, so
Amazing.
for the manga one, if we're going purely off of just how many I've collected, I'm still not caught up. I still got to collect more. But let's see. Let me get the whole series out of here. All right.
Now, Alex Grigorov said the ending got butchered, but that was not the creator's fault. Do you mean in the manga or the anime?
For what? Is that to me or is that to you?
I'm assuming that was to me because we're talking about Bleach. The ending for the Bleach anime was like about 70% through where the manga was, and with the actual ending in the manga, it was from what I saw, it was actually a halfway decent ending. Oh no! I remember what the ending was. No, that is fucking retarded. God damn it! Why'd you make me remember that?
Remember what?
Do you want me to tell you what the literal ending to Bleach is?
The literal ending? Like I don't know what the ending is. I didn't make that far.
So there is this literal like almost god character that has an impronounceable name for me. It's like Hiwacha or some shit, who kills the first captain. And here's how he ends up getting defeated, okay? He ends up managing to get defeated, and his spirit splits into all these particles. Do you remember Uryu from the anime?
Yes.
Okay, so here's how he gets defeated, and I'm not making this up. Uryu and his family are at breakfast, and you see the last particle of this ginormous asshole, and his son eats the particle. That is mixed in with his cereal for some unknown reason, and that permanently gets rid of his essence. You're welcome.
Huh?
Yes.
You're fucking with me.
I am not. I wish I was. Now, to be fair, leading up to it was pretty awesome, but then that's how they get rid of him. Yes. Although, you know what one of the cool things that they don't have... You know what the... you know what one of the cool things is? Oh, Dragonis... Ludus, I mean, most of the work got done by Kenpachi when he got his Bankai. Yeah, Kenpachi of Zaraki got his Bankai, which was a really cool thing. But did you know that during the anime, they're actually 2 Kenpachis.
I didn't. What?
So Kenpachi is actually a title for the strongest Soul Reaper who only has like a taste for killing, right?
Right.
It's not an actual name, it's the title.
Well, I knew that. So if that's what you're talking about, I thought you were trying to say there was 2 Kenpachi Zarakis.
No, there are 2 Kenpachi, because there's only
Alright.
one alive at any given time. But during the anime, there are actually 2 alive. Guess who the other one is?
I don't want to take a guess here.
Do it. Do it. You won't get it, but do it.
Nah, because who I was thinking of wouldn't make sense. He's not part of the Soul. He's not part of the Soul Society. So
No, it is part of the Soul Society.
which is why it doesn't. Which is why who I was thinking of didn't work.
I can't remember the name. No, not her.
I was about to say,
Oh, there it is.
I was about to say if Uruhime is considered a Kenpachi.
No, it's not Orihime, but that would be funny as hell.
Who?
Retsu Unohana, the captain of Squad 4.
Okay, just to confirm it's who I'm thinking of, because I'm
Hold on.
about to
hold
get
on.
indignant if I think if it's who.
Give me 1 second, and I will show you. Because I'm about ready to show you 2 pictures.
Okay, it is who I'm thinking of. What?
Hold on.
The mommy healer herself?
Oh no! She's not just a mommy healer. No,
That's
she
awesome.
fucks shit up.
I know she does, but it's still.
Like, no, that is a mask, and she wears that mask really well.
She does.
Yeah, it's her.
It's like
But
makeup.
this is
It's a
what
lie,
she
but it's a
looks
lie you
like.
accept.
This is what she actually looks like right here. You see
send
that scar on her chest right there?
Let me pull it up. Yes.
She got that from Kenpachi of Zaraki while he was still a child. That's when she stepped down, named him as Kenpachi, and went on to be on Captain of Squad 4. And actually, they explained this because in the 1,000-Year Blood War, she has a one-on-one duel with Kenpachi as an adult. The reason she went over Squad 4, and this is really fucking cool, is because she wanted to learn how to heal people to keep them fighting against her for longer. And in fact, she kills Zaraki numerous times, but brings him back many, many times. Their whole fight is really fucking cool. Show him the Bankai. Okay,
I kind of like it, but I kind of don't.
No, if you actually were to see their fight, you would actually love it.
I'd have to see it. I don't. Well, the part I don't like is her being like. Well, I do like it, and I don't. I don't like. I kind of wanted there to be like that really nice character amongst, like that really like genuinely good person, kind of amongst the.
I'm sending you another picture.
Because in my opinion, most of the captains are dicks. So
I'm sending you another picture. Speaking of, most of the captains are dicks.
well, they are fucking dicks. He's all red.
That's Kenpachi of Zaraki. That's what happens when he releases his Bankai.
He turns into the devil.
Pretty much. With a big ass cleaver.
I don't know if I like that.
Well, it's similar to Ichigo's Bankai, because
Well, that's why I don't like it. I like the uniqueness of the Bankais.
Well, no, no, I don't mean it's similar to Ichigo's in the sense that it's the exact same thing. I mean, they actually explain that
there is a similarity visually.
Well, it's because they're the same. They're the same type because they mention that there are different types of Bankais. Some like damn it, was Byakuya Kuchiki. He has the one where his sword turns into a bunch of flower petals, and it doesn't affect him. Retsu Unohana's Bankai is actually she has 2 Bankais.
Yeah, because
which
she
is
have that man ray thing.
no, that's I believe the Shikai.
thought that was
But
a
it
Bankai for
had-
some reason.
But she has two Bankais. The other one is it becomes made out of blood. Her
The gods we
Bankais
stand
are literally
tall,
the essence of
brother.
life and death.
Gaming Moments, thank you for subscribing. Probably not watching us, but still.
But no, so hers doesn't affect her either. Three examples of what with Ichigo is Ichigo, Kenpachi Zaraki, and Genryusai Yamamoto, because all of theirs kind of like wrap around them, in a sense. So their Bankais are different in that sense, but that's just the type of Bankai it is. Because Ichigo's literally covers him, and you can see how strong he is based on the amount of, essentially, clothing he is wearing. The more damage he takes, the more his clothing rips, the less power he has, which is really strange. But it's kind of like showing how injured he is, or how worn out he is.
I'm completely lost. I'm not gonna lie to you, Chief.
It's essentially a difference of if it only affects the weapon, or if the energy of the actual, God damn it, what were they called?
Well, to indulge in what I actually can talk about, I also started collecting the Interspecies Reviewer manga.
Interspecies Reviewer is amazing.
It's like my favorite cover.
And you are a pervert.
Yes, I am, absolutely. I don't deny this. I will never deny this.
Okay, so I was right. The Manta Ray is the Shikai.
Also started collecting the Aru Fureta manga, which is better than the anime, I gotta say.
Oh, he's talking about then there's that guy who got a swastika sword. It wasn't a swastika. It's just the hook that hold on.
Wait, I
don't remember.
I don't know if I am recalling exactly correctly what you guys are talking about, but I think I do. Also, a series I highly recommend people check out. It doesn't have an anime yet. One's on the way, but I started collecting these well before the anime was even announced or rumored. The Skeleton Knight in Another World. Fucking great series. I'm still waiting for the next one to come out in English.
I remembered what I was thinking of.
What you thinking of?
Because I couldn't think of the word. So essentially, so for Unohana and Byakuya Kuchiki, their Zanpakuto, the energy stays in itself but expands, whereas for Ichigo, Genryusai, and Kenpachi Zaraki, the actual energy of the Zanpakuto surrounds them.
Good thing anime counts as a geek thing, because otherwise we'd be entirely off of the core spirit of this podcast.
Calcio. Ludus calls Asmo a perv, Asmo Chad face, yes.
Absolutely.
Befalton, I'm not sure you heard my drink from earlier. It is my favorite anime as well as my favorite beverage. You just need to drink a bit of bleach to understand bleach. That's not very wrong.
I do need to collect more manga, though. I've kind of stilted my collection of it lately.
Ichigo is also the idiot who gets 4 Bankais. That's half true?
Well, I think it's when I found out, like, because I had to look it up because I couldn't finish the anime. It lost me. The Bount arc, in particular, I just got completely lost. I just looked up the synopsis of the rest of the series. Is it true that Ichigo is part Hollow, part Soul Reaper, and also part what's that thing?
Quincy?
Yes, Quincy.
Yes.
So that is true. He's all three.
Here's how. His mother was possessed by a Hollow, but his mother was a Quincy and his father was a Soul Reaper. So he got essence from all 3.
That's a bit much.
That's why he is essentially a visored with Quincy powers. Which I think they end up getting... Now, someone correct me, because I'm not 100% sure about this. But at the end, they get rid of his visored powers. If I'm not mistaken. They essentially get rid of his Hollow powers. Towards the end of the manga.
All that sounds so stupid, says Carl Corn. And it kind of is... it is a little bit because it's like at that point you can easily explain how badass he is, not because he trained hard enough, but genetic disposition to just being a powerhouse.
Well, no, he also trains.
Well,
too.
no, he does. Like anyone who watches, but it kind of undermines it a little bit.
Oh, okay. No, it gets assimilated into his Bankai. Okay, so I was wrong.
Right, the hollow powers?
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought eventually he like loses his mask. He loses his visored ability, but no. Oh, okay. I was wrong. The fucker with the name that is hard to pronounce, Yawatch, is the king of the Quincy's and the end boss. He's the one who kills Genryusai Yamamoto.
Ain't gonna lie to you, Chief. I lost.
Don't worry about it. But Alex Grigorovich did bring up a good point. Hollow and Shinigami are two parts of the same thing, and that is true. They're both spirit beings. One's just been massively corrupted. So that and the way they explain like Ichigo is because his mother, who was a Quincy, got possessed by a Hollow, and when she had Ichigo, because of the way spirit particles work, Ichigo managed to get all three. He won the lottery.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to say we gotta move on before my brain explodes.
It reminds me of something. It reminds me of something else when I was young.
Monster Mizume is about a monster. Is about monster girl fetishes. So yeah, even if you don't like snake girls, you know you got harpies.
Hold up. Hold the fuck up,
got,
Dragonis. You're fucking with me.
You got centaurs, you know. You got mermaids, if that's your thing. Slimes.
Did you see what Dragonis just typed in?
No, I didn't. I'm trying to move on.
You remember Yachiru Kasajusi, the lieutenant for Kenpachi?
Yes.
The little pink hair girl?
Yeah.
That's his sword.
What?
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I did not know that part.
How does that... What?
That was his Bankai in human form, but that doesn't make sense out of the Zanpakuto arc.
That doesn't make sense at all to me. Like, she's...
Well, no, in the Zanpakuto arc, all the Zanpakuto were given human form.
Yeah, but during the Soul Society arc, his sword and
that's what I'm
Ichigo's
saying.
were broken.
That's what... Well, no, because I think he was making the claim that wasn't... Or, like... I don't get it. I don't. That's why he didn't get one. Yeah, he had one, though! Dragonis, bad. Don't do that to us. At least I can fuck with Asmogon. You fucked both of us. Swords can take human forms. Ichigo sword has it all the time. Yes, but Ichigo has to do some special mumbo-jumbo magic bullshit to make his do it. The sword that broke wasn't his sword.
I'm so confused. But in the Soul Society arc, she was watching their fight. And after Kenpachi was completely knocked out, she was watching over him, and
yes, because
another guy came up and said, like, "Hey, we gotta go, Lieutenant," and she said no, and then that evil aura. What? I don't know. That kind of. I thought it would be cooler if she was another person.
I like the idea of thinking she was some demon child that's just tagged along with Kenpachi. Oh, yes, because when he reaches Bankai, she disappears. This is strange on so many levels.
Yeah, I'm lost.
And then Alex Grigorovich said, well, Ichigo's sword was not his true sword in the arc either.
Well, I think wasn't his real Bankai that creepy Ichigo form?
No, his Bankai is no. That's his visored form.
No, yeah. Well, I knew that, but I thought because I remember there being a line like, "I am Zangetsu" when he was fighting him in the.
Okay. So you remember Zangetsu and Hollow Ichigo, right?
Yes.
Hollow Ichigo is actually his Bankai. Zangetsu is his Quincy powers.
Okay. I'm gonna stop asking questions about this because I'm gonna be completely lost.
Kenpachi suppressed his own power, and that is why she appeared. That makes a little bit of sense, but it's still stupid.
Anywho,
Who brought up anime? By the way, I want to figure this out.
I don't know.
I think it was
we've been on
Dragonis.
this tangent a while. Anyway, moving on from Bleach. I'm not going to accept any more convo about it because I think we beat that to death.
It was Dragonis.
Any other Q&A? Well, I'll let anime go, but just no more Bleach because my brain's fried.
He's about to start drinking it.
Just spare me my sanity.
Who was man once said I'm not autistic enough for this shit.
Just an accomplishment.
Dragonis, I did it and I don't feel guilty.
Just for extra credit. I do also have the first 2 volumes of the Apple Black manga, which is actually made by a YouTuber. I don't know if I think he's technically more so considered well, it's an American made. I believe he's in America. I might be talking on my ass here. But Wyatt Manga here on YouTube, he's made some manga, but he's American. So it's Western and it's art style. Anyway,
I don't know if you've seen this one, but I managed to catch this one on Netflix. Your Lie in April.
I haven't seen that.
Watch it. It's good. It'll make you cry. It is sad, but it is good.
Asmergon, do you read Solo Leveling, the beginning after the end, LSE? No, I do not. Like I said, my manga collection has been kind of slow lately. I've been just too busy writing my own shit.
Any chance you will play Battletech 2016?
I had no intention of doing so. Why is it good? Try it. Alright, I'll keep in mind Solo Leveling.
I'm trying to think of anything new coming out that I want to try, but I can't think of anything.
Nah, I got nothing. Well, if we, I don't think we have any callers, right? No.
Pass. I clicked the wrong thing. Store.
Oh, do you work today, Lotus?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I work the next 6 days.
Yeah. I have a
new releases. Oh no, upcoming. I clicked on new releases, and the very first one was a porn game. I am pleased with myself.
Hey, it's the best kind of release.
Dying Light 2, Hollow Knight, Silksong, Humankind, Party Animals, New World, Battlefield 2042, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. I don't think that's ever getting released. Total War Warhammer 3. Monster Hunter Stories 2. I've not really seen anything that's kind of popping out to me, honestly. And I think that's honestly kind of pathetic. Like, it's just none of them even remotely look appealing.
I had to find my least favorite anime. There are a few that come close, yet none. I'd say my least favorite is, I think Peter Grill something. I like it as a, I'm a pervert, so, you know, I enjoy it from that standpoint, but in terms of plot, it has none.
Oh, they're releasing another, Legendary Lord pack for Total War Warhammer 2 for the 14th. It's called The Silence and the Fury. And it looks like an orc. It looks like either an orc or a beastman and a and lizardman. But I hate fucking lizardmen, so I think it's beastman.
Tell Ludus to get Deka Squadron.
Yeah, it's beastman.
Ludus Coneth requested that I instruct you to get Deka Squadron.
No.
All right, so I think we're gonna end it there, guys, because I think we're out of steam now. Got no callers in the line, correct? No, we do not. All right, so we're gonna call it here. You get a Minotaur and a Chameleon. Interesting. Yeah. Have a good one, guys. I've been Asmagon.
And I've been Ludus.
And we will catch you guys next week, hopefully, for the next Geeky Theoreticus podcast.
Yeah.
Adios.